the Houston Invest Television Magazine. I am Sidney Kanu, your host and anchor to this weekly television program. In this repackaged series, I have a lot lined up to inform, educate, and entertain you with. So please keep date with me on this channel every Wednesday and Saturday at 6 p.m. Before I go into this week's episode proper, please, let's take these messages. Welcome back, viewers. On this segment, we would look at some news that are relevant to our community. With me to review these events is Dr. Umez, Dr. Bedford Umez. Dr. Umez is a professor of government at Lee College, Baytown, Texas, and the author of several books on Nigeria and Africa. Dr. Umez, you are welcome.
Thank you, Sidney. It's nice to be with you again.
My pleasure. Yes, Prof. Well, there's been a lot of things going on in our community and around the country and the globe generally and all that, So we want you to talk about some of these issues, to review some of these things with us. Recently, President Donald J. Trump was acquitted from the 2 impeachment articles presented by the Congress to the Senate. And the Senate, after their trial, acquitted him. What do you think of this? And how do you think this would impact on this year's November elections?
Impeachment process is an ordeal. No president of the United States wants to be impeached. What some regular people don't understand is that impeachment does not mean removal from office. It's just an indictment. Okay? It's just like in our normal criminal justice system. When somebody is accused of a felony, there will be a grand jury to see whether there is enough evidence to go for a trial. So the decision of the grand jury is called indictment. Then we assemble another jury to try the case. And that is the trial jury that will find somebody guilty or not guilty. In this case of the presidential impeachment, the House will impeach the president, meaning will indict the president, meaning that we have looked at the evidence so far. We concluded that President Trump abused his power and also obstructed Congress. Those 2 conditions, they believe, warrant removing him out of office. So they handed that decision to the Senate. Now, as you mentioned, the Senate acquitted him of all the charges, while the House impeached him. Okay? Now, even though it doesn't result to removal, as it is now, it's still a mark on his presidency. Because the 3 presidents that have been impeached in this country, including President Trump, the first was President Andrew Johnson in 1868. The second one was President Bill Clinton in 1998. And now, President Trump. Okay? Now, and that's all it means. Even though, again, as I said, it doesn't remove the person out of office, it is a mark that no president wants to see in his presidential history. Now, what does that mean in the upcoming election? Okay? As I mentioned, if history is the best predictor of future, it hurts President Trump to a large extent. It will hurt him. Okay? Now, whether
his political chances? his winning chances for the next
well,
presidential election?
it will hurt him because he has been impeached. Okay, whether that is enough to deny him election, I cannot tell you that. Nobody knows tomorrow. But what I can tell you is that based on the previous history of those who have been impeached, impeachment tend to hurt them. Okay, so I cannot tell you whether he will be able to survive. I just cannot tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. Again, on the top burners presently is the travel ban based on some African countries. Okay. Amongst them are Eritrea, Nigeria, Sudan, and Tanzania. Prof, what do you think that this, what's your view on this? Actually, how do you think it will impact, particularly Nigerian economy, Nigerian political systems and our diplomatic relations and social lives, with America and all that?
Okay. About a couple of days ago, I was interviewed by CBS on this issue, and we didn't go far. Okay, but I will expand on that in this our interview.
Take your time.
Okay. I want to make it clear that initially the travel ban wasn't really truly nuanced. In other words, it wasn't truly understood by so many people. Okay? But a couple of days ago, the foreign minister of Nigeria, Honorable Geoffrey Onyema, had a press briefing with the United States Secretary of State, Secretary Michael Pompeo. And they made it clearer what the travel ban is all about. Okay? And that is what I want to enunciate here so that people can get it a little bit clearer. Okay? According to the Secretary of State, concurred by our Minister of Foreign Affairs, that Nigeria is one of those countries that is not in compliance with identification, verification, and information sharing rules concerning some criminal elements that is going on in our country. Specifically, they mentioned that there are news that some passports were missing in Nigeria. Okay, black passports stolen by some people. Okay, and not only that, some people's passports were stolen. Okay, by some suspected bandits. Okay, in addition, that Nigeria doesn't have adequate record or sharing record of criminals. Okay, especially those who might be associated with Boko Haram. Okay, so since Nigeria does not reveal or share such information with the United States and some other world global security watch like Interpol, okay, terrorists in Nigeria specifically, they mention Boko Harams and their sympathizers might sneak in, okay, because the Nigerian doesn't have adequate information about these criminal elements. So if Nigeria complies with that rule, then the ban will be lifted. Okay? So because of that, it affects normal people like you and I, those who have their spouses in Nigeria, those who have their relatives in Nigeria want to come here. Okay? Because once a ban is placed on visa, nobody knows who is who. Okay? So it tends to make innocent people suffer. But so far as Nigeria, we now comply with those rules, information sharing, technological sharing, sharing information about the criminal elements, the bandits and all that, then Nigeria will be reinstated. Now, the question is when? We don't know when.
Right.
However, our foreign minister said that effort is in place as he was speaking to make all those corrections. And once that is done, Nigeria will be taken off the list.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Yeah, okay. Prof, then let's look at the next issue that let's know. Yes, Prof. Great, you said all this about the travel ban. But one thing I am thinking about this travel ban is that the travel ban seems to have masked, you know, a lot of the contributions of Africans, you know, here in America, you know, especially Nigerians, you know, what they have contributed and things like that to the development of America and all that, you know. So, it now looks as though the travel ban is particularly against Africans and not that there is nothing good coming from Africa into the United States and things like that, you know. What do you think of this?
Yes, a very good question. You know, bad things travel so fast. Okay. If you look at the internet, all you see brutality all the time. Good thing will happen, many people will not even share it. So for that reason, this ban now talks about Nigeria, terrorism, blah, blah, blah. They forget that Nigerians in the United States have made enormous, massive contribution in this country. Okay? And I'm not just saying it, and you know me by now, I do not exaggerate. I say things the way they are. Okay? I do not say this without based on research. For that reason, I will let the research done by experts in the field to speak for me in terms of the massive contributions Nigerians have made in the United States. I'm going to read this. This is according to Migrations Policy Institute of America. Migrations Policy Institute. And I quote, "Today, 29% of Nigerian Americans over the age of 25 hold a graduate degree compared to 11% of the overall U.S. population," quote close. See what that means? Yeah. See the statistics. Yeah. 29% compared to 11% of the population. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number two, according to Rice University here, did a thorough study, and this is what he said. Nigerian immigrants have the highest levels of education in Houston and in the United States. Quote. The last and not the least, Pew Research Center, Research Center, well known in this country. This is what he said. Quote, 59% Nigerian immigrants in the U.S. hold a bachelor's degree or more education, a share roughly double that of the overall American population. Okay. Now, the reason why I want this thing to be highlighted is that Nigerians are not moochers. We do not come here and sponge on America. Okay? Yeah. We go to different countries as we come to the United States. Our goal is to contribute to what advances the society. Okay? Now, people like me, people like you, and so many others are making contributions in this country every day. Okay? And we do it gladly because we revere this country. We respect the United States. Okay? Is there some bad apples? Yes, there are some bad apples. Just like in every society. Okay? Now, often you hear terrorists, Boko Haram. It's true, it does exist. Okay? But if terrorism is the main reason to put a ban on Nigeria, we have to go to the countries that really invented the terrorism. Because in 9/11, 19 people carried out 9/11, and 15 are from Saudi Arabia. I don't have anything against Saudi Arabia. But I'm just saying that bad apples in a society cannot be used to describe the entire society. It's called individualistic fallacy. You look at few people from a community to a country, you use it to judge the entire country. If that will be the yardstick then maybe Saudis will not be here anymore. That's the point I'm making.
Yes.
Again, I want everybody to understand my analogy. I have nothing to the contrary. But I'm just saying, we have to look at the community in general. Is this community a boon for us or a waste for us? So that when we do certain things, we temper justice with mercy. Okay? So that is the point I'm trying to make. America is a great country, and we hope, and I believe, that once Nigerians make up, comply with the rules, the ban will be lifted. Another thing I want to say also, notice that in that ban, tourism is excluded. Business is excluded. This is where I'm appealing to the U.S. government and the world community. One of the reasons why many Nigerians are leaving the country is because a lot of our leaders embezzle our oil money and send it abroad. So the money that could have been used to invest in Nigeria and create jobs is overseas. That's why these people are escaping for a better life. So what United States should do as a leader of the free world and others is to call upon all these foreign countries. When somebody comes from Nigeria with millions of dollars to open an account, do not accept it. Because if you say that you don't like an armed robber, but you are using the money of the armed robber, which you know that is money robbed from people, that is an accomplice to the crime. In the last press briefing with Secretary of State Pompeo and our Foreign Minister Onyema, they revealed that soon $321 million will be handed over to Nigeria from New Jersey Bank, from past Nigerian leader. Remember that 321 million is just a tiny, tiny drop in their bucket. If world leaders who want security, because you see, part of the security is also when people feed. A hungry man is an angry man. And man must eat, either by hook or by crook. When people cannot eat the right way, which is hook, sometimes they eat in a bad way, which is horrible. But to stop that from happening, we should make African leaders, Nigerian leaders, find a way to close their loopholes in sending Nigerian money all over the world while the people are starving. Also, I want to acknowledge our foreign minister, who said also that that is a big problem in Nigeria, corruption. Okay? So, while they are fighting for security, trying to share information with the United States, they should also fight, because it will help them also, the leaders. If your neighbors eat, you eat. Everybody will live well. It doesn't make sense to take your whole money and send them abroad for medical checkup, medical treatment. People at home don't have hospital. It doesn't make sense to send your children to study abroad. There's no university in Nigeria. It doesn't make sense to hire foreign expatriates to build our roads when your own university cannot produce good engineers. It's about time our leaders face what is called leadership. Nigeria has what it takes to be at the top of the countries in the world. Look at other OPEC nations, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, among others. Compare their infrastructure, what you see in Nigeria. The question becomes, how many Saudis, how many people from Kuwait, how many from Qatar has bank account in Nigeria? How many of them come to a Nigerian hospital to be treated? So all these things work together. Feed your country. Everybody will live in peace. But we should also fight security to make sure that it is preserved, because that is number one function of a government. Notice that this visa issue, the people coming here on tourism are not affected. People coming here in business are not affected. But ordinary Joe, who is trying to survive, innocent person, is the one who is being affected. So what is the point I'm trying to make? I always continue to say that looting of Nigerian coffer and sending abroad has been our major problem. And a part of the greatest loophole in this lies in tourism and so-called business. I'm not here arguing against business or tourism, but this is my challenge, or rather, my pleading with the American government and the world over. Those people coming on so-called tourism or coming on business, they need to be scrutinized like everybody else. We know if you are going to America for tourism, maybe $10,000 might be what you might take. But when you see somebody bringing millions of dollars, what is he doing? Okay? So these are the people we need to target, because this is the avenue some of them capitalize on to loot Nigerians. Okay? And that needs to be stopped. Okay? So that needs to be stopped. So ordinary people coming here like you and I to survive and make a contribution here and also help our poor folks back home. Now we are now being railroaded. Okay? Railroaded. While the leaders, some of them coming here, the so-called business trip or tourism, exploit the avenue to open millions of dollars accounts. Just to tell you what I heard yesterday, I will not mention the name to protect the innocent. Here in Houston, one of the leaders bought a house here in Houston, $1.5 million. Give somebody a key to take care of the house. The guy who owned the house here was unable to continue paying mortgage, tax on the property. The building was foreclosed at the cost of about $12,000 or $15,000. A house that was bought for $1.5 million was sold. So what is the point I'm making? Somebody will be in Nigeria. You come here and buy a house of 1.5 million, some 3 million, some $5 million. That will ring bell to somebody. Something is fishy here. Okay? Those are the people that their travel document must be scrutinized. That wherever they go, wherever they do, why Nigerians are sharing terrorist information with the U.S., the U.S. will be sharing that information with Nigeria and other foreign countries, because what is going on here is total starvation. I call it ideology of mass destruction. That these people robbing our people are committing atrocities. They are committing genocide by other means, because we are starving our people to death. And this needs to be stopped.
I think at this point, let's go to break, and we'll get back and conclude on this segment. Thank you so much. Welcome back, viewers. We are now on the second segment of the show, which deals with African fashion. And to present this is Ms. Oluwatoyin of Esperanza Center. Oluwatoyin is a fashionpreneur, a passionate fashionpreneur who seeks to educate people on the essence and ethics of fashion. Please, let's welcome Ms. Oluwatoyin.
Hello viewers, it's great to be with you today. And hey, it's the Black History Month. It's February 2020, and we know that the Black History Month is usually celebrated between the 1st of February and the 29th of February in a year such as 2020. Um, what is the Black History Month? We all know that, but let's just breeze through it. The Black History Month is a month where we celebrate the achievement of the Black, the contribution of the Black in the society. We don't want to forget, we don't want to ever forget the effort and the struggle of our forefathers. What are we trying to say? We don't want anybody to tell our own story for us. We need to begin to tell our own stories because of our unborn generation. Despite the struggles of our fathers, they were able to achieve great things. So what is the message in the Black History Month? No matter what the struggle, no matter what you're going through, you can make a mark. You can make a mark. So it's about fashion. Where does fashion come in all of this? Fashion is a means of expression. Fashion is when you form something. Fashion is about accessories, clothing, shoes, and what people generally accept over a period of time. And when our forefathers were coming, they did not leave their culture behind. They wanted to be Black and be proud. And one of the areas, one of the avenues of being Black and proud is clothing as a medium of expression. Clothing is one of the three basic needs of man: food, clothing, and shelter. Clothing is not luxury, it's a necessity. Clothing is one of the ways by which you identify yourself, you express yourself. Before you hear someone speak, you will meet them. As you can see, I am clothed as an African woman. The beautiful nature of Africa, the rich nature of the culture of Africa, from the east to the west to the south to the north of Africa, we have diverse culture. People express the medium of their culture through the way they dress. The dashiki, which is now popularly known across the world to represent Africa, comes from the root word dan shiki, from Hausa word which means underneath. It's like a top that the Yoruba man puts on, and you find out that this dashiki is well accepted all over the world. And what is this saying? The dashiki has moved beyond just an ordinary dress. It's a medium of expression. It's a medium of, we are proud of who we are. We are proud of the efforts of our forefathers. We are proud that we are able to survive. We are able to get educated. We are able to contribute our own quota into this community and wherever we find ourselves all over the world. We are also not negligent of the fact that we do not want our culture to die. We want to pass this on to the unborn generation. We in fashion, there's a lot of benefits. Fashion is a medium of economic empowerment. Fashion is a way by which you identify with other fellow association within where you live. Maybe you are far away from home. When you put on your attire, such as I am putting on today, you are able to identify with others. You're able to feel the fact that you are still part of your culture, even though you are far away from home. And we know that who is the father of the Black History Month is Dr. Woodson. He started this movement sometime in 1926 to recognize the efforts of Blacks. In their efforts to emancipate the Blacks, they wanted to avoid misinformation. He said, if we neglect, if we forget these struggles, before long we'll find out that all this will be far gone and will embrace only foreign culture. We don't want to forget our culture. We don't want to forget our heritage because it is so rich, it is so popular. And he decided that, okay, let us start up with something. It was 1926. He came up. Initially, it was a week celebration, but now in 1976, they were able to expand this into a month celebration. And the aim is to celebrate our greatness. We are great. Regardless of the color of our skin, we are great. We have a lot to contribute. We have contributed in the past. We are still contributing in the present, and we are still going to contribute in the future. We do not want to forget all our rich culture of respect, our rich culture of harmony, our rich culture of hard work with which we are passing on into to our children. So anytime we come out and we dress in our African attire, we want to remember who we are. We want to remember that we have a respectful culture. We want to remember that we are people that are not liabilities. We are assets. We want to remember clothing has gone far beyond only for entertainment. Clothing, African clothing, has a deep meaning. It has a deep root in culture. So we do not want to forget that our roots, we want to keep remembering now and in the future as our children get into this culture of wearing a lot of clothing. Our clothing, they remember that yes, I am black and I am proud. From Uganda, where they put on the gomesi or the busuti, Zambia, the chitengi, Egypt, the jelabiya, in Senegal, the kaftan, Nigeria, as I've mentioned before. You can find an a Nigerian woman wearing something like this. This is what they call the gele, and this is the ashoke. The male in Nigeria, they put on the danshiki in the top, then a flowing gown, which is called the agbada. Then to East Africa, the Swahili, they put on the kanzu. In Ghana, the batakari. South Africa, the madiba shirt. In Zimbabwe, they have the safari shirt. Ethiopia, they have the Ethiopian suit. In Somalia, they have the camels and with their small cap called kofidas. What are we talking about? We never want to forget our rich culture. I don't know where you live. I don't know where you are. I am Oluwatoyin and I'm black. I'm proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Via, for your time. We will draw the curtain on this episode of the Houston Events Television Magazine at this point. But before we go, I will entertain you with a clip from the Nigerian Foundation in Houston. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening and see you next week.
Nigeria.
Some of them will get up for me. I love the way the ladies will wait for me.